Ethereum is going to $4,000 by May 23rd. That is according to Standard Chartered Bank. Their thesis is that we have a spot Ethereum ETF coming, and that's going to drive massive hype. But that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the bullish catalysts forming up for Ethereum in 2024. Our road to $10,000 ETH lays before us, and 4K could be the first major pit stop. Let's take a look here at what they have to say. So, Standard Chartered Bank is saying that the SEC is likely to approve a spot Ethereum ETF on May 23rd. Of course, they're not going to do it beforehand because that's not how the SEC rolls. They're going to wait until 4:55 on May 23rd, blast out a press release, and then I'll run home before anybody asks any questions. That's how the SEC operates. Anyway, this is very interesting. I also like their very interesting, curious, fascinating, lovely price prediction. $4,000 target if it mimics Bitcoin's pre-approval performance. Now, we have generally seen Ethereum underperforming versus Bitcoin in the run-up to the Bitcoin spot ETF approval. But what happened as soon as the spot Bitcoin ETF was approved? Ethereum pumped. Because the market then knew, oh, we're getting an Ethereum ETF next. And so far, the SEC has been delaying their decisions on these Ethereum spot ETFs. But as Standard Chartered Bank thinks here, and I tend to agree with, we're probably just going to have to wait until May 23rd to get our approval for that. But once it looks like the approval is going to happen, once we start seeing the rumors circulating from insiders connected to BlackRock who knows somebody and told their uncle and who told their taxi driver, who told the reporter over at some crypto media agency that the spot ETF is coming. So watch out for that. I think it'll be a very big narrative for the first 2 months of this year. And here's something very interesting as well that supports this potential mega price rally for Ethereum. And it's this. Did you know? Typically, January to May are Ethereum's biggest months, with on average, except of course for in bear market years, 2018 was pretty rough, minus 24%, minus 53% in February. In March 2020, minus 39% in March 2022, minus 26%. But generally, that first half of the year is a big time for Ethereum. You know, not always going to be like that, but it's certainly interesting to see, isn't it? If that's the case, if we do have the ETF narrative heating up, then we could see, well, what's actually going to be a rather typical year for ETH. Cool. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, like, hey, wait a second, Lark, didn't you just make a video the other day talking about how Solana just flipped Ethereum? Well, it is true. Solana has just flipped Ethereum, and we're seeing major metrics on Solana starting to outpace key metrics in the Ethereum ecosystem, especially if we're just counting layer 1 versus layer 1 and not looking at all the stuff happening on Ethereum layer 2, which is hard to discount. But if you're making an apple-to-apple comparison, maybe it's a bit more apt perhaps, but still, two things can be true at once. Ethereum can still go to $4,000 because of ETF hype, and Solana can still have huge soaring metrics. And here's something for you. Here's a little thought. What happens when we get an Ethereum ETF? What do you think the market's going to pivot to almost immediately? That we're going to get more altcoin ETFs. And what are the primary candidates for the next ETF products? Well, we've already had big players like Franklin Templeton, a $1.5 trillion asset under management asset manager. They're already tweeting about Solana. So I would highly suspect that when we get our ETH ETF, we'll probably see a Solana ETF, potentially something like a Dogecoin ETF. I know it sounds crazy, but it's probably going to come. A Chainlink ETF, Avalanche ETF, maybe even as soon as the end of the year. That, of course, opens up the floodgates for liquidity into the altcoin space and really makes this market way crazier than it already is. Now, before we get into the other reasons why I think that Ethereum is primed for that move to $4,000 and long-term up to $10,000. I just want to let you know, if you're not yet signed up to Wealth Master newsletter, get signed up. Best damn newsletter in the cryptocurrency industry. By the way, you will get so much alpha in every single issue. We talk, of course, about the news because the newsletter, we also have airdrop alerts We have NFT mints, DeFi tutorials, the latest technical analysis, deep dives on altcoins, my portfolio updates, and much, much more. Sign up for free and join our 100,000 plus weekly readers using the link down below. Thank you. Now, why is Ethereum so well primed for a major market move? If you look down below my head here, right over there, you will see a chart that's basically been in up-only mode. This is the amount of Ethereum going into the staking contract. Currently, it's at 28.5 million ETH in the staking contract. If all these people wanted to unstake their Ethereum, it would take them 2 years to do. So it's stuck, essentially. When it comes to, hey, price is at $15,000, $10,000, whatever everyone wants to sell today, yeah, you can't sell today. You're going to have to wait 6 months or a year to get your ETH out to be able to sell it. That creates higher price velocity at the top. We're also seeing stuff like this, which helps to build the narrative. Ever since the merge happened, we've seen the total amount of Ethereum decrease by 0.2%. It's only 345,000 ETH coins, not that dramatic, but let's just keep that running over time. How much ETH will get burned? Ethereum is currently deflationary, not massively deflationary, but deflationary. Pretty impressive. The layer 2 seen on ETH continues to be absolutely something to be reckoned with, continues to be massive. Look at this. Right now, on average, we are seeing Ethereum do about 13.7 transactions per second. And if we take all of the layer 2s together, we're adding another 55 transactions per second on top. So that's what, Arbitrum and Optimism and the others are doing combined right now. We're seeing various days when Arbitrum, for example, is outperforming the Ethereum main chain. So the ETH layer 2 scene is definitely where we're seeing a lot of excitement happening. Of course, we have massive airdrops over there that are going to be coming soon. We have Starknet, which is going to be a massive stimulus for the Ethereum community. That, of course, helps drive the price of ETH up to 4K in that pre-ETF era as well, because people get a lot of free money. And what do they do with their free airdrop money? They go and buy ETH with it. Some of them will restake, but some will just go and buy that sweet, sweet ETH with it. They'll take their airdrop money, move it up to safer bets in the market. ZK Sync's coming, Linea's coming, Scroll's coming, other airdrops are coming. Be a big time. Be a big, big time. So layer 2 space is only going to get bigger. In fact, it's going to be one of the biggest things happening in Ethereum for the coming few years, especially when you consider this, the Denkun upgrade. Now, this is already on the test net, so it means we're going to see mainnet release as soon as March, which just lines up perfectly, doesn't it? If we're getting an ETF in May and like late March, we get the EIP 4844 upgrade, this would matter. Now, what is this upgrade? This is the upgrade that will decrease the fees on Ethereum layer 2s, Arbitrum, Optimism, Linea, ZK Sync, Starknet, all this stuff by 10 to 100x. Now, even a 10x decrease in fees is going to be massive. Right now, it costs $1.50, $2, let's say $3 maybe sometimes to do some more complex transactions on some of these layer 2s. Sometimes it's a bit cheaper, depends on which layer 2 network you're using too. Okay, let's just say $2 as a sort of round figure here. 10x is down to 20 cents, 100x is down to 2 cents. At 2 cents, even 20 cents, you're relatively competitive with cheap layer 1s like Solana. At 2 cents, you're definitely competitive. Now you're going to say, okay, but Solana only costs 1/10 of a cent. Yeah, but who doesn't have 2 cents to make a transaction on Starknet or whatever? Very, very big potential here to see a massive amount of capital take off on Ethereum layer 2s with this upgrade. And then, of course, we have this, which is like the crazy house of cards that ETH is building right now, the Eigen layer. Now, I covered this the other day, by the way, in a video. It's like the top 10 guaranteed airdrops or something like that. You should go watch this video if you're interested in learning about how to get some free money from the Eigen layer airdrop. It's probably one of the biggest airdrops in crypto in 2024. Plus, there's all these different layers that are building on top of it, like Kelp DAO and Ether.fi, stuff like this, that are also going to give you airdrops from their ecosystems as well as the Eigen layer airdrops. It's going to be crazy, man. And that's going to have a lot of the staked Ethereum restaked into it. Now, long-term probably makes a bit of a house of cards. And when the bear market does come, we could see a lot of deleveraging happen on the Ethereum ecosystem, which is going to drive a lot of liquidations, which drives a cascade of price descent. And it's just bear market stuff. There's always leverage somewhere, and leverage unwinds in a bear market. And this is a major place where there's going to be leverage in this whole restaking ecosystem, the liquid staked ecosystem, stable coins backed up by liquid staking, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to be a bit of a mess. But that's for later to worry about. That's not for us to worry about right now. It's for 18 to 24 months from now, us to worry about. Right now, what we're thinking about, ETF narrative, bullish, hype, potential, almost 100% gains from here, or 85% gains or something. If it were to actually hit 4K, might not quite get there, maybe upper 3,000s. If we can see adequate narrative built around all the stuff we mentioned here in the video, could be one of the most obvious trades happening in crypto right now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.